Before the HAL 9000, before Icarus, before Helios, before Shodan, before John Henry Eden, before GLaDOS, before the Sovereign, before Harbinger, and before Mother Brain, there was Am. Hello everyone, it's me, the Invisible Gunslinger 1, and this is the prelude video to a new project that I'm going to be starting for Halloween. And I'll be uploading this on Halloween, by the way. I'm not recording this on a Halloween, so, happy Halloween, everybody, when you get to see this. I'm actually going to probably be in class when I'm doing this, so that's a little bit of a mood killer. Yeah, everybody's going around getting candy, having sex in Halloween costumes, and I'm just sitting in my English class, probably writing an essay about God only knows what. I think we're reading Farewell to Manzanar right now, which is a good book. Very good one about Japanese internment. That's another scary thing to think about in the tales of history. But I'm here in this video to tell you about another book, another terrifying tale of history. Fictional history, science fiction history. You see, in 1967, there was a little bit of a book written by a fellow named, I've got it right here, Harlan Ellison. Harlan Ellison. I don't know how to pronounce it. He wrote a short story called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. And I think this game was made in 1997 for the DOS platform, which is like an old computer platform for you young kids who don't know. He basically helped or created or whatever. He was involved with this game that basically takes his book and adapts it into a computer game, which is a point-and-click adventure game, and I'm going to be recording that. And the reason why I felt that I needed to do this little prelude video, or I'm going to label this as episode 0. We're not actually doing anything right now. This game's going to be really interesting. I saw it a long time ago. I think about 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm going to dedicate this project to the fellow that got me into this game, and just in general was one of the primary people that helped me start up my YouTube career, and that's a big thank you to Necroscope86. Necroscope86 did a fantastic recording of this game, and I can remember very little snippets of it, and he was very, very funny in that recording, and I highly suggest everybody go out and watch him. Sadly, I think he deleted his channel a while back, I think about 2 years ago, but he's been re-uploading all of his older videos, and I don't know if the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream videos are back up or not, but if it's worth checking out, in my opinion. But enough about Necroscope. We're here to do a recording of me and my little thing that I do. But now here's the thing. This is going to be a little bit difficult for me in 2 different reasons. Number 1, the title of this game is incredibly long. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. So it doesn't really lend itself to part numbers or part names. Because usually when I record a project, I try to at least give a part name like, oh, this is Dead Space Part 1, and then I'll put on some funny title that has something to do with the goings-on inside. But I think for this project, because the name of the game is so long, I'm just going to label it as Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. And then maybe I'll put the title in the description, like my little whatever, and I'll just put it in the description. I always write funny things in the description, or at least I try to. So that's going to be kind of weird. Everything's going to be labeled Part 1 and so on. So that's totally different for me. I don't think I've ever done that before. And then the other thing that's going to be a little bit weird is that, from what I can tell, this is one of those games that does a really good job, pardon me. Ooh. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick today, so please excuse me if I sound a little bit different or whatever. I've just been at work too much, screaming at all my coworkers. Friendly screaming, but screaming nonetheless. But yes, this is going to be a very difficult game in some ways for me to record because Harlan Ellison himself voices or narrates the game as the computer Am. And I get the impression that you see, this is the problem. This is why I wouldn't record something like Bastion, because the game does a really good job of narrating itself. And games that tend to narrate themselves really well, I don't feel that I can properly record because I talk a lot and I tend to go on really big rants. And when I get interrupted, usually by myself or characters in game or whatever, I tend to lose train of thought because I want to talk so much. But I think for this project, I'm really going to have to back off and let Harlan Ellison, Mr. Ellison, I'm just going to call him Mr. E, because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm just going to have to let Mr. E, get it? Mystery. I'm just going to have to have Mr. E kind of have his free roam, which I haven't really done with any other characters in games that I've recorded. So if I don't talk for a long time, that's just because I'm absorbing the story and I really want to get into it, and I really want to give my perspective on the whole story. I don't want to just keep throwing in little quips to be as funny as I can and keep throwing in your face. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to throw in some quips here and there, but I do want to just sit back and enjoy the story because it does seem like a very fascinating, in-depth story. And I do want to try. I think there's different endings. I think there's like a good ending, bad ending. I can't remember. I'm not going to be shooting for any specific ending. I'm not going to be doing anything like that. But I will be dropping some save states I'm not sure, but I think you can fuck yourself over and get like an immediate game over or to the point where you can't continue in the game. So I will take precautionary measures in that, but I'm not going to go back to like the first 10 minutes of the game and restart the whole thing just because I got a shitty ending, you know? So I think there was something else that I wanted to say. I can't remember. Oh, here's another one. This is something else that I wanted to say. This is actually going to be the very first point-and-click adventure game that I've ever done on my channel, which is very unique, and I'm sure I'm going to miss a lot of things because point-and-click adventure games I've never really played. You see, I was born in 1993, and that was kind of when gaming was moving more towards home consoles, and I never had like a personal computer until I was like 10, so maybe even older than that. So I didn't really ever get into point-and-click adventure games that much, or I didn't get into games like this where it's a really in-depth thing and you have to pay attention, notice every little detail. So I'm sure I'm going to get stuck a lot, and I do want to apologize for that right off the bat, but I'm not going to cut anything. If I just get stuck, I get stuck. I'm sure funny things will happen from me getting stuck. So yeah, you see, this is the whole reason why I wanted to start off this project like this, giving this introduction, is because the game just throws you in there. I was going in to do a sound test, and man, this thing just throws you straight into the story, and it gives you no time to talk. So I just wanted to take a little bit of a break before we get into this and say all this little stuff that I've said. And I just gotta say, one thing that is purely personal is that I have been looking for this game for years. For years I've been looking for this game, and I am so glad that it recently came to Steam. As soon as I saw it came on Steam, I bought it immediately. I don't know how much of the proceeds go to support the original, Harlan Ellison or his estate or whatever, but I think this is going to be a fantastic game, and I'm glad that I paid money for it. I know there's probably websites out there where you could pirate this, but I really felt like this is a really interesting, well-written game from what I can remember. I haven't seen it in ages, so maybe it's shitty, I don't know. But either way, I am glad that I'm supporting an older computer game and showing that those games still now in 2013 can be very entertaining. So, I think there was something else. Oh, one other game that I really hope comes to Steam that is a really great point-and-click adventure game that I think I also saw either from Necroscope or Over the Gun is this little game called Beneath a Steel Sky. Definitely go and check that out while we're on the subject of point-and-click adventure games. It's a fantastic game. I remember that one much, 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 much more than I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Very entertaining. A lot of British humor. Gotta love it. So, with that said, with this going into the 10-minute mark, I will shut the fuck up and we will start the game. So let us jump into I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.